Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. This is Kate back at it with a new video. The title of this video is called Dine and Dash. I don't know if you're familiar with this term. It's an old problem that's starting to reappear again. And basically what dine and dash is when a group of people go to a restaurant, order liquor, a lot of food, dessert, you name it, they order, right? And these are people that look like they doing pretty good for themselves. And when the waitress isn't looking, they run out the place or pretend they're going to the bathroom and they leave the restaurant holding the bag, meaning they didn't pay. Now, and then they run out, they laugh. We just got over. But did you really get over? What you did was you put the restaurant in a bad situation. Okay? For one, restaurants are low margin business, meaning they charge a lot in some places, but you gotta look at the overhead is what get restaurant people. Number one, they gotta pay rent. Now rent isn't cheap. And depending on your square footage, if you got a big space, well, you're probably paying a big rent. Then you got your utilities, and then you got your insurance for the place and insurance for your staff. Then you got payroll. Then you got food supplies. Then you got liquor supplies and everything else that goes with it. You know, you're paying out before you even bring any money in, right? So if someone books out the place or run off, we just got over and you just stuck the restaurant with a $200 tab, well, now that's a loss for the restaurant, right? And not only is it a loss for the restaurant, the waiters and waitresses and the busing staff, the bartenders, they all depend on this money to make their livelihood. So when you run out the place without paying, and of course you're not leaving a tip, well, the owner loses because, he put out the food and the drinks, and then the staff, they gave you superior service. They made sure you got everything you wanted. They kept the table clean. They was at your beck and need. And then you run out the place. Now, is that really a class act to do such a thing? And what you got to look at is, will restaurants want to trust certain people, especially of color, right? Now, let's say you go to a real nice restaurant and you and your group decide you want to sit outside in the patio area, the front of the restaurant, right? You think they're going to trust you like that? You think they're going to let you sit outside where you don't have to run outside? You're already outside. All you have to do is just run down the street. See, there's implications to everything we do. Number one, you don't want to lose that reputation that you could be one of those people that you can't trust outside to eat in front of your establishment with less barriers, because when you dine and dash, that just puts a bad taste in your mouth. And especially, I know all people do it, but they always look at people of color a certain way anyway, right? And I'm not saying it's racism or whatever. That's just the way it works. So we as people of color should be the last ones doing it. And I'm not saying white people don't do it, green people don't do it, orange people, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. So when people dine and dash, it makes it look bad for everyone. Because these people are struggling trying to have a business, and the last thing they need is someone running out the place without paying, because at the end of the day, somebody got to pay. You might not have paid, but somebody paid for your meal. And then how you think the waitstaff feel? Now they don't waited on you, and then they get nothing in the end. You know, that's a bad taste in your mouth. So, you know, in the day, it used to be people that was hungry, couldn't afford to buy a meal, and they did the 90 days. It was still wrong, but you understood it because you're saying, well, hey, you know, that person was hungry and didn't have money to pay. And most of the time, the restaurant would even offer them to, you know, wash the dishes, or that's okay. But when a group of people come in, they all dress well, right? And then they all run out the place. You know, it's just a bad look. It really is. So hopefully this end one day. It'll stop, because, you know, you can put a restaurant out of business doing that. And you don't want to be profiled when you go to really nice restaurants. You know, you don't want people looking at you sideways, or don't want you to sit out in the patio because they're afraid that you might run off without paying the check. And, you know I don't do it. I know a lot of you don't do it either. But all it takes is that 1% to ruin the bunch. Again, this is Kay, back at it with a new video. Take care, guys.